Hi, and welcome to the Senior Network. I'm your host, Greg Fulton. Today we are joined by Natalie Lucas, Optimal Hearing.
How are you today?
Great. Good to see you again.
Good to see
Happy
you.
2021.
Thank goodness. It just sounds better.
I know, it really does. Well, I know before the show we were talking about, because you have a mask in your hand there, about how this process over the last 8 months, whatever, wearing masks and shields, how you've done some research to find out how this has actually changed some things.
Right. You know, and we've known that once people put on a mask, others can't see their faces or their lips. And so that blocks visual cues that's important for people with hearing disabilities. But now, of course, a year or almost a year into this, new study has come out by the Hearing Journal. And what they did is actually study how much different masks will block sound. And what they found is almost all masks work well for low frequencies or low tones, men's voices.
Okay.
People were going to hear men's voices better if they're behind a mask. But what was interesting, and there were even some surprising results, they studied the KN95 mask. These weren't available widely in the beginning of the pandemic, and now they're readily available online. And surgical masks, the polypropylene, as well as different layers of cloth masks.
Okay.
And what they found is that surgical masks take very little bit away from high frequencies, which is where most people's hearing loss, or many people's, is a high frequency or high pitch. These masks, even though they can seem thicker, allow people to hear high frequencies better. And cloth masks, of which a lot of people are making at home, have varying degrees of success. The more thinly woven the fabric material is, the better people will hear. But of course, this means that they're not filtering particles as well in terms of blocking the virus. So thick masks really blocked a lot of high frequency sound and made it harder for people to hear.
Very interesting.
Very interesting. They
Never really
found
thought about that.
multiple layers of a thin, loosely woven fabric were better than a single layer dense fabric in, say, homemade masks or cloth masks.
Right. And I know that now the shields, does that, I mean, obviously from a sound standpoint, does that cause, like the plastic shields?
A lot of people liked using the plastic shields because you could see faces, or even masks that had a clear window in them.
Yeah, I've seen this, yeah.
Teachers and the like, a lot of them would use them. And this was surprising, plastic shields diminished or attenuated more sound than any other type of mask. They could cause up to a 12, 13 dB loss of sound behind a plastic shield. So while you were gaining visual cues wearing a plastic shield, or for people talking with others, you were losing a lot of really important high frequency sound.
Wow.
So at the end of the day, they found that the best masks were these KN95 masks, which are nice because they also have what I call the duck effect. They give you a little space in the nose.
Right.
The polypropylene surgical masks, and then the N95 surgical masks, all allowed for a better transmission of sound than, say, many cloth masks.
Exactly.
So these KN95s now, you can get them on the internet very easily. I just bought some for my mother.
You did. Now I remember something about when the KN95s first came out, that there was all of this about having to have them tested and going for, I don't know, if you have asthma and things like that it could be dangerous, and they were really watching out for that, but I'm assuming that that's kind of past now, maybe.
I think they've done enough studies of people running marathons, and certainly if you have a medical condition and it bothers you, then, you don't want to put yourself in any type of danger. But I find personally, when I wear these masks, they give me extra space in the nose and mouth area, which makes it a lot easier to breathe.
Great. Well, we mentioned the new year, very exciting stuff there. I had no idea about all that. But moving forward, what's going on with you guys as far as 2021? I know last year you mentioned probably at the first of the year, maybe rolling out some new custom brands and things like that.
We're off to a big start. We've had a very busy January.
Okay.
Typically with hearing aid manufacturers, new things roll out either in the spring or in the fall, like May or September. So we're starting to kind of put our ear to the ground there. But off to a great start this year, and excited to see how more people become comfortable as vaccinations
Yeah,
trickle
I think
down.
we are.
They're just waiting to get more vaccinations out there.
Yeah. Are you finding that a lot of your customers, patients, are they able to get the vaccines now?
I've helped some patients
Okay.
register for them. My seniors, I'll call them.
Oh, yeah.
If I see somebody and they're having trouble, I'll help them. But we're hearing the same things. They're not trickling down quite as fast as
Right,
I think everybody
right.
wants them to. But hopefully that'll speed up.
Now, are you sending your folks to the hospital, local hospital, to do that?
Yes. So
Okay.
I just helped them. Certain people have trouble with computer skills
Sure.
and registering. So if I come across a patient who's having trouble,
Just
I'll
help
just
them out.
register them.
Yeah, and get them in.
Yeah.
Natalie, always great information. Thank you so much. I
Thank you.
appreciate it. Great to see you too, okay?
Good to see you.
Stay with us. More to come here on the Senior Network.